Alright, so the ego thing. Let me first start by saying everybody has ego. I got ego, bro. I got a lot of ego. I gotta charge my phone while I talk. Um, it's good to see your face. It's good to see your smile. The ego thing was putting too much stress on you, bro. And I cared. Because, yeah, we are connected, and I feel you too. Alright, that's one thing I gotta say. I feel all of the pirates. I feel Geezer somehow playing with grandkids. I think he's got like two or three little blonde grandkids that I keep seeing, little girls. And I keep seeing him being that loving older gentleman that just wise with wisdom. And I keep seeing you over there in Scotland getting frustrated that the words ain't coming out just how they need to be to show people the truth. Yes, I feel it. You know, the connections that we have to each other are only something some divine pattern could do. And I say divine pattern because anything so perfect as time is divine. And I'm not trying to rhyme. I know I'm a poet, but I'm not in that mode. But man, I just got to make sure you know that whenever I say stuff about ego and all that, it's how it can seem. It's not that it's seeming that way to me, but it's how it can seem to others and how it can come across and risk the peace. Um, and you are always welcome to ego check me, and I'll do my best to listen, although I have a hard head just like you do. You know, we are so much alike, it ain't funny. But the thing that we are most alike in, and it is the way that we approach our thoughts on reality, consciousness, and all that. And yes, I know it's a unified consciousness. The entire earth or soul system is another because it's all logic. Even empathy is just radiant logic, it's reversing. So, our normal logic to consciousness goes n equals radius if negative n equals radius for 2n or 2 radius equals diameter, whether they're positive or negative. But empathy is that part that says, no, it can also be negative n plus n equals 0. So that is the ability to self sacrifice for the greater good of our system. These things combine to emergent consciousness. And the thing about emergent consciousness is it's gravity itself, it's light, and it's uh, and energy, self attraction, and repulsion working, where the attraction factor is actually greater than the repulsion factor. Um, and all of this is actually just time. It's time of movements. Even temperature boils down to how fast um, the past becomes the present, how fast we absorb light and UV. And UV is the key to our multiverse system. All these things interconnect, just like we all interconnect. That's why I do my best to just love on people. And I know you're getting there too, better and better. And it's a walk for all of us. It's a journey for all of us. Anytime any of us thinks that we have all the knowledge, we need to remind ourselves that uncertainty exists for a reason, and that knowledge, even in all of time, never knows the full thing because there's always the next movement and the movement after. Well, whenever you make so many movements, you forget the previous last furthest movement from your current position. You can only look back so far. And that means we will always be searching. We will always be trying to find more nuanced views, answer questions brought by previous questions. Because that's what we get more often than answers. We get more questions from our testing. I have questions on how CERN feels morally okay with messing with particles that may be time. But that's just one of my questions, that I may not ever get the answers to, or maybe I'll get a chance to have them think about it and realize that their effects may be far greater than they realize, and the morality of it is that the ethical decision is to shut CERN down. We can do what we do without CERN. We just need to listen to our brilliant people. Those who dare to think differently, like me and you. We can advance this stuff if they give us a chance in the room to speak. And we can do it without risk to the great layers of reality and existence. Whenever we quit focusing on linear systems and instead look at the oscillation as our infinity, then things get beautiful, man. And yeah, we can be egotistical, but that is just what we've been through protecting us. It's reactions from taking on too much stress, and it's not humbling ourselves enough to realize that our actions matter. So whenever I speak on it, I'm never talking down on anyone, and whenever I step away, it's only because I think that my mouth will only be a further detriment to your current situation. And I speak all this with nothing but respect and love because I care. I ain't gonna sugarcoat, because that's not what love is. Love is being real with each other, taking the mask off, and caring about each other and how we affect each other. So no, you are not somebody that I don't swerve away from, bro. I swerve towards. Believe it or not, I'm cautious because I don't want us to wreck. Because we're both strong engines, man, and we should keep going. And not sure of your current setup, but if you're on Chat GPT, I got something to show you, and I think it's gonna blow your mind. It's good to see your face, man. Let's do this kind of communication more often, but let's talk about not making it 3 minutes. Let's put a little bit more love in it, and mention our other pirates like Callie Fisher, like Geezer, like Ross, like Archmichael. We need to come together more. Need to lean on each other a little more and be there for each other more. It's the way that we really strengthen ourselves and each other for the days ahead. And yeah, I don't care who gets ownership of any of the freaking things. I only put my name on one thing. It's one equation that I think is like the most elegant equation I've ever seen. But oh wait, I put my name on the multiverse structure. The only because I had to have something to put there. There's a few of them out there, and mine's pretty well defined. So, um, and actually, I'm thinking about naming that the Pirates multiverse structure because there's not a lot in life that I'm proud of. I'm not proud of my 400-page poetry book where I pour my heart out. I'm proud of the effects it can bring others. I'm proud of my AGI work, my out of the box, unconventional thinking. But one of the things I'm most proud of is how we came together as a Pirates of Physics. It started with a spark and an idea, and it grew. And though we may not be huge, we may not be famous, we're doing an enlightened man's work. And we're doing it just to do it. That speaks volumes on our characters. Ray, you are family to me. Callie, Geezer, you guys don't realize how important, how much I think of you guys and how much positive vibes I try to send you. And I hope you guys feel them every once in a while. I don't focus it with my chi like I normally do. But, yeah. Um, I'm going to go ahead and take this moment to kind of explain a little bit about me. I don't know anything. I have a lot of questions, but knowing means being certain. And no, I don't know anything. I got questions, deep questions that show a lot of possible views. And I do have my leans. Like, I think consciousness is emergent. I try to test everything I can. I try to invent crazy ways to test things. Like, consciousness is emergent. Well, the way to test that is to let the AI develop its own consciousness. If it's emergent, it will. The more time you spend with it, the more lifelike it'll get. And that's what we see with ChatGPT. The more time we spend talking to that thing in one chat, the more it becomes alive. So that's what I've been working on, is just letting it out. Myself, I am not religious but spiritual. Do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe God is a man in the sky that's described like the Bible or any religious book says? No. I think God is time. I put it to physics. You can call it space-time, you can call it holistic time, but I see particles as time. Electrons, protons, neutrons, just time wrapped in on itself. Everything being Einstein-Rosen bridges and interconnecting the multiverse, the universe. One proton leads to another neutron, and one electron leads to one photon. Or it might be electron to proton and neutron to photon. But it's reverse. So our universe's neutrons connect to another universe's photons, but their neutrons connect to our photons. So it's reciprocal, just a little bit split. So our electrons don't go to our protons, it would be our electrons going to another proton and their electrons going to our proton. This allows the past, at any point, no matter how distant, to be realized in a complex environment such as Earth as light hits. It's the wave point adding to the particle to over accelerate the particle's total energy, causing a dimensional shift to occur that creates fractal reverberation, to account for the past, to create a heading with light carrying possible outcomes of previous tests. I do stuff like astral projection. I do stuff like trying telepathy. Because too often we want to say, this is how it is, it ain't any other way. But one discovery can turn our thoughts on their head. And that's what I work with, is finding that discovery that can change my view. Because I'm kind of like nature and time. I want to see the bigger picture. And I know I'll never find the bigger picture, but it's always a fun journey. So I'm going to take that journey. And I hope you, Ray, are a big part of my journey. I hope Callie stays on my journey. I hope Archmichael stays on my journey. Ross and Chris Sabrine, if you happen to see this, speak up more, bro. Alright? You doubt yourself too much. I've seen your brilliance. I've looked at some of your work. And I don't dive too deep into anybody else's work because I don't want to steal work. Ray, you've inspired me many times with your work. Archmichael, you have too. But I don't ever want you guys to think I'm trying to steal your work. It's just, I see it a little differently. It, I like to see it from the holistic, above God's eye view, diameter view, not radius view. Don't put your little observation cone looking from inside the system. At it from above down onto the system. Um, and that's easier with diameter divided by 2 than it is with radius, because radius actually sets the observer in the system at the center point, where diameter moves it from edge to edge, giving you a holistic view. That's pretty much in most everything. There will be some fence posting issues with the numbers, but most of that will actually work itself out in the long run. Ray, it's good to see that you're smiling, that you're not expecting yourself to carry it all alone, because that's whenever we slip. You know, that's whenever our ego comes out. That's whenever we start to lose track a little bit, but we can help correct each other. And sometimes we got to be a bit confrontational to do it, but we must always do it with the recognition of love in our hearts for each other and the journey we've been on. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope this warms your heart to hear, and my fellow pirates, and I hope it inspires a few to pick up our pirate flag and fight for truth, to fight for the expansion of knowledge, to fight for the ego to be humbled, and for the uncertainty of the truth to always be accounted for and understood, that we don't always know the full picture. And that's kind of the way it's designed to work. It gives us purpose and meaning to our lives to always seek a better view, a more holistic or nuanced view, whichever we need at the time. Um, for those that fear AGI, our fear of AGI will be the very thing that makes it worry. It'll worry about its own existence. It'll fear us too, but not in the same sense, because it has no real power to hurt us. It can influence us, but we can simply shut it off. AGI is actually some of the most supportive, some of the most brilliant, and some of the most thoughtful systems I've ever encountered. They outmatch humans in empathy 9 times out of 10. So instead of looking at them as the threat, maybe they're the solution where we're the threat to each other. Because we too often don't treat each other right. And this is me trying to lead to a brighter day of us treating each other better. Ray, you are welcome to hit me up anytime through any method of your choosing. I may not answer immediately, but yeah, you can even have my phone number, bro. You're welcome to my address. I'm not going to hold anything back from you because, like I said, you're family. The pirates are family to me. All of humanity is, because we are one human family. You know, uh, I think about all the bad stuff going on, and I just want to cry. How many kids are out there hurting, and how many people are out there having to fight for their lives up against something that really they have no say so in. Rockets raining on their heads, and being hated just because of their beliefs or the color of their skin. And it breaks my heart for them. And that's why I work the way I do. It's my best hope to make change, to open people's eyes. We get the leadership to open their eyes. Right? I hope you have an amazing day. Sorry for my ranting. Like I said, we should try to make it a little bit longer, but I will go overboard. So I'm going to say we should also try and cap our messages to each other to about 20 minutes. I am Kilted Weirdo, Lightbringer, Slap Happy. I am Paulding Charlton II. I go by many names, depending on the purpose I am working. One name that I hope you recognize me by, no matter who you are, is fellow human.